Well, we made it. It's week 17 in the NFL, and our boys are making it to the playoffs. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this preview edition of Believers Talk, where we get you ready for week 17 of our Buffalo Bills season as the Buffalo Bills go up against the New York, New Jersey Jets. The last game at home for the 2019 season. Maybe we'll get lucky and the 5 and 6 seed will make it the playoffs. That means the AFC Championship game will be held in Buffalo. Other than that, this will be the last game in Buffalo this season, guys. Welcome to Believers Talk. Again, I'm going to give you all a minute to get in here as it's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. No Thursday night football game tonight. So that means I can get on here a little bit earlier and the stream a little bit earlier too. Maybe we'll just stay up an extra half hour longer talking about this game between the Jets and the Bills. Don't much to say about this game, but we'll get into it a little bit, and we'll also talk about the backups and how long I project the starters will play and what to look forward to as the NFL playoffs approach. Lots of things to talk about. So I look forward to you guys joining me for that. Again, we are live. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. And go ahead and subscribe if you're new to the channel as we keep you up to date on all Buffalo Bills news. Believers Talk teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com has been a great season with BewareTheStampede.com. Jeremy over there has his own podcast now, so you want to make sure you check that out if you haven't already, guys. He does a great job. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas as well. Christmas just ended yesterday. Lots of holiday things going on. So again, if you haven't, or if you are getting ready to enjoy some more holidays, happy holidays to you. Waiting for more people to come in here. I'm noticing that no one's getting notifications. I don't know why that is. Hey Anthony, how you doing? Did you get a notification? I'm trying to figure out why notifications are not coming through. But I did not get a notification on my other account. So hopefully most people got notifications. Again, guys, if you're new to the channel, go hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button while you're in here. I didn't get the notification. Yeah, I think that's going to be a problem here if people are not getting notifications that I am live for this preview edition of Believers Talk. I just got the notification right now, he said. Let me check me, see if I got it as well. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, I just got it. So, hey, it happens. But Anthony, thank you for joining me, and thank you for being a moderator. I want to thank all my moderators this year as well. Doing a great job. Comatose comes in and says, "I got it." Yeah, it was just a little late for Anthony and myself. So glad that is now working well. Austin comes in, AJ, good idea or bad idea to set players out versus the Jets? Well, Coach McDermott said that the starters will play. Now, he didn't specify the time, how long they will play. But I think it's a good idea to have them play. I really do. I mean, obviously, their workload needs to be managed properly. If Josh Allen goes out there on first down and hurts himself, I'm not going to blame Coach McDermott for that. I might blame the offensive line for that, but I'm not going to blame Coach McDermott for that. He's doing what he thinks is best for the team, and I'm never going to be upset with that. If this is what he thinks best, listen, he knows that team better than we do, okay? The head coach of that football team knows what this team needs. Same thing with over in Baltimore, Harbaugh. He thinks his team's good to go with 2 weeks rest. I personally don't think any team should take 2 weeks off before a division round of the playoffs. I think that's going to make you a little rusty. Or you'll come out guns blazing that first game, think everything's going smoothly, and then that second game, you have a lackluster performance. I think that either one of those things can happen. I see the notification must be getting out now, Anthony, because a lot of people joining us. Daniel comes in, hey, how you doing? Doing great, man. Jack comes in. I got it. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Hey, Joe. Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa to everybody and Happy New Year. New Year's coming up. Guys, I'm probably going to do a couple videos about, or at least one video about this year and reflecting on the Bills season, reflecting on this channel, and just reflecting on how grateful I am for all your support throughout this channel. Probably do it here, do it on Twitter. So make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. You know, and Scott Blakely, if you come in here, he just won that Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. Gave out a few prizes on Saturday during the live stream of the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots. Guys, you can watch the game this Sunday as the Bills play the Jets over at #Sports. Mario and Paul do a great job. If you haven't bought football squares yet, make sure you get that in as they're donating to the Punt Foundation all the money that they receive for those football squares goes directly to the Punt Foundation, and you get a chance to win some really cool prizes. So maybe you're not completely happy with what you got for Christmas. You still have a chance to win something really cool. $5 per square. Just hit them up, see how many squares they have left. So enjoy that. Enjoy that game. Again, hashtag Sports Believers Talk to me up to give you the best play-by-play reaction coverage of every single Buffalo Bills game. And we'll let you know what that looks like heading into the playoffs as well. I know you guys are excited for the playoffs. I'm excited for the playoffs. Would I rather the Chiefs or Texans? Asked Jack Patrick. The Texans. But I say that, and then remember, if the Chiefs were to drop to 4, that means they lose to the Chargers. So what kind of mindset would that put them in? With the Texans getting J.J. Watt back, that might be a huge boost for them. But I still think that Texans team's a little inconsistent. I trust our defense against our defensive secondary against their weapons for some reason more than I do against Kansas City. Although I think we could shut both of them down. I think that we match up better against the Houston Texans. Hey Elliot, how you doing? Welcome to Billievers Talk. Glad you could join me. We should see Duke this week, says Comatose. Maybe we will. Maybe we will, and that's something we'll talk about as well. I know a lot of people would be excited about that. Maybe sit John Brown, sit Cole Beasley, even though I have him on the thumbnail of this video, and see how some of the other guys do. Maybe get Robert Foster more acclimated to the offense. Maybe bring in a Duke Williams. See who we can ride with come playoff time. See who's best suit to help this offense succeed. Because remember, guys, if we're playing most of the starters, then that means we won't have as many roster spots for whoever is coming up from the inactive list from weeks previous. So it's not like we could bring up TJ Yeldon, Dean Marlowe, Duke Williams without inactivating somebody else. So you have to think, if Coach McDermott's serious about playing most of the starters for at least a quarter, then that gives him less wiggle room for other players on the active roster. So that's something we have to look out for. Daniel says, smash that like button. Absolutely. Guys, smash that like button. Carmatos comes in. If he hasn't started Duke Williams yet, though, I don't know if now is the best time to bring out, unless you're just playing your backups. I'm not sure if you want him in there with Josh Allen, because that's not wide receiver Josh Allen is familiar with, or at least as familiar with as some of the other receivers. Or maybe this is the test to see, hey, does Duke Williams have this offense down? After all this time, has Duke Williams finally got this offense down where he could be a contributing factor in the playoffs? So we'll see what happens. I think that it's going to be very interesting to see who the inactives are on Sunday and who Coach McDermott plans to play. We know that he said that he plans to play the starters for at least some time on Sunday, but that could be a quarter, that could be half a quarter, that could be the first drive. You could take this as the first preseason game. There's plenty of options where it leaves the door open for these backups to make an appearance. However, do we want to win? Is this game important to you? Winning and losing, does this game matter to you in that regard? Remember, Barkley came in last week when we played the Jets, and he absolutely dominated them. Now, this is a completely different Jets team. This is a completely different Bills team than it was back then. You're talking about 9 new offensive starters for the Buffalo Bills, so you have to wonder how that would affect someone like Barkley if he were to come in, because he hasn't had the Sundays to get the camaraderie down with these 9 active starters for the Buffalo Bills offense. So if you're bringing in Matt Barkley, you should probably see some more backups, maybe even see Duke Williams in there. And we should probably sit Mitch Morse. He got injured last week. He was practicing already earlier this week, but just to be on the precautionary side, sit Mitch Morse. There's no reason to have him play week 17 and have him possibly re-injure whatever he injured last week. Just sit him out, play John Feliciano at center, or even Quentin Spain, someone like that. Play him at center, adjust that offensive line accordingly, and play that way. So that way those guys get reps at those positions as well. We'll read through some of your comments here, guys. Again, welcome to Billievers Talk. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Thomas Camp comes in here talking more about his blow-up doll. Probably excited to be in the playoffs. I know that blow-up doll's been waiting for that for at least 20 years, guys. The second time in 20 years the Buffalo Bills will be in the playoffs. After this Sunday, we don't have to clean out the locker room just yet, right, guys? We'll be on the road. Now, will we be traveling to Houston, or will we be traveling to Kansas City? Yet to be determined, although all signs look like they lead to Houston. Anything can happen on Sunday, so we'll find out Sunday if Houston beats the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs lose to the LA Chargers. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to Kansas City instead of Houston. Instead of playing in that nice dome, playing in that cold weather in Kansas City. I don't think the cold weather will bother us as much as that home field advantage. Kansas City has a great home field advantage. In fact, right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, the home crowd, holds the Guinness Book of World Records for loudest crowd in an open roof stadium, I should say it that way. So, it's going to be a tough place to play. I know Houston will be electric too, getting J.J. Watt back. I'm sure they're excited about that. But I don't think, again, that we match up as well against Kansas City as we do the Houston Texans. So let me go through some more comments. If Josh is behind center, you need all your O-line stars protecting him, says Dan. Well, again, if you do that, then you risk Mitch Morse getting hurt again. Mitch Morse had concussion issues at the beginning of the season. He had some injury issues throughout the season, and then he just got hurt last week. I understand your point, but I think John Feliciano did a decent job playing center after Mitch Morse went out a few times this season, where we can trust him, rely on him to be the center if Josh Allen is going still this Sunday. And again, we don't know how long Josh Allen's going to be playing either. And Coach McDermott has not always been truthful with us in the past. I mean, remember what he said about McCoy being on this team, McCoy staying on this team, McCoy being a captain of this team, and then all of a sudden McCoy gets shipped off, gets released. He doesn't even get traded, just gets straight up cut. And then it leaves Bills fans kind of wondering, well, why did that happen? Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. We're going to talk about some of my keys to victory against the Jets. Again, a lot of that dependent on who plays for the Buffalo Bills. When you look at this Jets team, 6 wins this season, going for 7-9, and also Sam Darnold looking for an above 500 record. Right now, Sam Darnold in games that he's played in 6-6 this season. He's looking to go to 7-6 this season as the Jets starter. So that's something to look at too. How much does that matter to us? How much does leaving our home crowd happy on the last game of the season matter to Coach McDermott, to this Buffalo Bills team? Or is it all about resting for the playoffs? I mean, to those of you who have tickets to the game this Sunday, do you care if the Bills win, or would you rather see the Bills rest up their starters, maybe lose the game, but still be ready for the playoffs? I mean, it's 50-50 for me. I know when I go to a Bills game, I want to see a victory. That's all I want to see. I know that the idea is to be completely healthy for the playoffs. But I want that victory. And plus, with the victory, 11 wins, that gets you to my preseason total. I said the Bills would have 11 wins, and that would make me happy, make me look smarter than I actually am. So I would appreciate that as well. Jack Patrick comes in. I've been seeing Duke all year, and I'm scratching my head. What is going on? Maybe we find out at season end. Again, it all comes down to knowing the offensive playbook, okay? And not just when he's receiving the ball either. He has to know the offensive playbook when he's blocking for the running backs. He needs to know the offensive playbook when he knows the ball isn't coming to him. Again, this coaching is, we see stuff on Twitter and things like that on social media that the social media people putting out there want us to see, right? They want us to see the amazing catches. They want us to see everything that's good about Duke Williams and get us excited, get us wondering why we're not playing Duke Williams. But the coaches see him play in and play out, so they know something we don't, and there's a reason why he's on the inactive list. And some of us, including myself, might say at some point, well, listen, put Duke Williams in there, take Robert Foster out. What's the big difference? Even if Duke Williams doesn't contribute all that much, it's better than Robert Foster. But remember, Robert Foster plays special teams. So how much does Duke Williams know about the special teams coverage, where he's supposed to go? Because we know how bad our special teams are. Would they be worse with Duke Williams in there instead of Robert Foster? So all these things have to be considered. That's not my job to consider all those things. That's the coaching staff's job, the guys who see him play in, play out, and they can make that determination. And again, he comes from a different league. He comes from the CFL. Things take a little bit longer to develop in the NFL, and maybe he's just taking a little bit longer to learn the playbook than even the Bills staff would like. But that's just the way it goes right now, and he is still on the 53-man roster, so if the Bills need to bring him up, they will. Rest of the starters, the second half, says Thomas Camp, absolutely. Carmatos comes in and says, I haven't seen much of Duke Williams. Can someone tell me if he's slow or decent speed-wise? I personally can't. As far as his speed goes, I would say he's not a burner, that's for sure. I know that. But I think he's mid-pack type wide receiver, but I can't speak for sure about that. Couldn't tell you his 40 time back when he came out. Actually, to be honest with you, when he came out of Auburn, he was not invited to the combine because of some NCAA violations his senior year at Auburn. So it wasn't at the combine. I think he had a pro day, though, where he would have ran the 40, so I'm not sure. Carm comes in and says, I'm not a fan of Roberts returning. Sometimes, I mean, we haven't had a big return or much big returns this season, but they really make it harder on the return guy, right? With the new rules and everything. I just don't want him taking stuff out of the end zone, right? If it's far enough, if it's a yard back, that's fine. But if it's 3-4 yards back, just take the touchback, take the free 25 yards, and start at the 25-yard line. Instead of taking it out and trying to force something, I know you want to make plays for this team. I know you don't get many opportunities to make plays for this team, but it's better to start at the 25 and get dropped back at the 15, and all of a sudden we're behind where we want to start with. So that's what I think about when I think about Andre Roberts, sometimes being a little too eager to take it out of the end zone. Needs to be able to just calm down, take the touchbacks. I feel like he did a good job last week in New England. Just needs to continue to see that, because 2 weeks ago just wasn't his best game for sure. Speed-wise, Duke is okay, but not great. So that comes from Daniel. I feel like Singletary would be better, but I understand why he's not there. Talking about the return game, yeah. I feel like Singletary would see more open field. Not sure if I want Singletary back there with his hands. I know we returned some at Florida Atlantic, his rookie and sophomore seasons. I don't think he did much in his junior and senior seasons. Have to remember that he was the workload over there for Florida Atlantic, so they didn't want him to do anything else other than running that offense, and he did a great job doing it, obviously, so you can understand why. So let's talk about some of the keys to victory. I'm not going to talk about so much individual players for the Buffalo Bills, because again, we don't know who's playing and how long they're playing. I think one of the main keys in this game is to see how long Coach McDermott keeps that first string in there, of course. But why is Andre Roberts at wide receiver a lot? Because he has terrible hands. He has terrible hands. He's not that great at the wide receiver position. That's just how it is. That's why he's wide receiver 5. He's a special team specialist, and that's pretty much it. We have Brown, Foster, Beasley, and McKenzie. Yeah, and those guys all have better hands than Andre Roberts does. He just isn't the best wide receiver out there. I wish that we could put someone back at special teams, and then that would open up position for Duke Williams and have Andre Roberts on the inactive list, but just the way it is. Jack Patrick, my key to victory versus Texans or Chiefs: don't suck, don't play timid, don't be a bunch of sissies. Oh, and when we take the lead by 2 touchdowns or more, don't take your foot off the gas. Go out to Hulk smash. I think that's going to come back to bite us this season in the playoffs. Is if we have a big lead, we want to step on their throat, and we haven't done that much this season. Most of the time we get a 2-touchdown lead. You've seen us be conservative. You've seen us just try to run out clock. In the playoffs, you can't do that. These are good teams. These are some great teams. These are the best teams in the NFL, and they're able to come back from multi-score deficits in a blink of an eye, especially a team like the Chiefs. You look at that offensive setup, how they have things up there, you know that they'd be able to come back from 2 scores in 5-6 minutes. So you want to make sure you keep your foot on the gas, but that's something that the Bills have not done much this season. But next Thursday, we will pregame the playoff game between the Bills and whoever they play. So make sure you join me live for that. Right now, we're talking about the Bills versus Jets, and I think one of my keys to this game is time of possession. Guys, you looked at last week's game, and we were almost out possessed 2-1. I think it was 21-53 to 49 or to 39-07 or whatever that would be. We can't lose the time possession 2-1. I mean, we have to keep it close. All the Bills games that we've won this season, we've had the ball for at least 29.5 minutes. I think we need to continue that trend. I think that's something that always needs to happen for the Buffalo Bills to have a chance to win a game. They need to win time possession, and it wasn't even close on Saturday, and that's something that needs to change. We need to be able to control time of possession. Obviously, when you look at that first game, week 1 against the New Jersey Jets, these two teams very different. And one of the things that happened in that week 1 game that really got the Jets off to that hot start is turnovers, right? Remember Josh Allen week 1, accounted for 4 turnovers. You talk about that Mitch Morse bobble. You talk about that Cole Beasley drop that he should have caught that went right into CJ Mosley's hands. You talk about another interception they threw in, another fumble in that game. So he accounted for 4 turnovers in that game. Cannot turn the ball over. Cannot give teams, even the Jets, extra possessions. Again, I talk about Sam Darnold being 6 for 6 as a starter. He wants to get those extra possessions. He wants to go 7-6 on the season, finish 7-9 for the New Jersey Jets, show a bright future ahead. Because hey, Sam Darnold, when he's been in there, he's looked pretty good, right? Again, 6-6 as a starter, doesn't have as much of a team around him, and we'll talk about that a little bit too in this video. Again, during the offseason last year, both the Jets and Bills were in pretty much similar situations, needing the same type of roster moves, and the Jets decided to go out and get some splashy names. C.J. Mosley, Le'Veon Bell, names like that. So they didn't get as much out of that money as the Buffalo Bills did. But Buffalo Bills pretty much revamped their whole offensive line, had 9 new offensive starters on offense with all of the free agents that they brought in here and some of the draft picks too. You talk about the difference there and who really won out. Well, if you're looking at a one season sample size, you have to say the Buffalo Bills obviously won out. Buffalo Bills heading to the playoffs as the 5 seed. Jets will be at home this offseason. Le'Veon Bell had some issues, and there was some team reports after that of him possibly being traded. Don't know how true those were or not. We had some issues with C.J. Mosley as far as health is concerned. We saw him go out in the fourth quarter, week 1, and that's really when the Bills did most of their damage and came back to win that game 17-16. So that's something we have to talk about as far as who did better this offseason between the Jets and the Bills, both thinking about the same amount of things this offseason, and the Bills just getting a few more assets than the Jets did. Jets, again, spending more money on fewer assets, but there were big names, right? Again, Le'Veon Bell, C.J. Mosley, some of the big names, where the Bills spent most of their money on Mitch Morrison, Cole Beasley, and John Brown, and you can name a few others in there that they spent their money on. Ty Nsekhe was a big one for most of the season before he went down. So those are some key pieces. Speaking of Ty Nsekhe, maybe back for the playoff game. So again, rest him another week. He's been out there limited in practice, moving around a little bit more, so might be able to play that playoff game. That would be a big boost if you have Cody Ford, Ty Nsekhe able to switch on and off. Again, guys, thank you for leaving comments. Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. I'll get to you in the comment section as I get in between points and things like that. If you have something that you want me to read, go ahead and hit that super chat feature. Again, guys, thank you for giving me over the 1K subscriber mark. Really is going to help out this channel, benefit this channel, and that will only benefit you guys as I continue to try to give you breaking Buffalo Bills news. And that's going to continue this offseason. That will not stop. If you were with me last offseason, I did a video on every single Buffalo Bills free agent. I did a video on every single Buffalo Bills draft pick. I kept you guys up to date. We'll do the same thing this offseason as well. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, guys. Like this video. Leave a comment as I read some of the comments over here. Down comes in and says, in the playoffs, the players need to play fearless. The coaches need to coach fearlessly. I completely agree with that. I think we've done a lot better since Coach McDermott has really thrown this team under the bus and told them, hey, we have to play fearless. Obviously, Dable's done a much better job in the booth than he has on the field, so hopefully that continues. Again, I really like the fact that we're in the playoffs, again, maybe even ahead of schedule a little bit as far as where we're supposed to be. Next year, you'll see us contend again for that AFC East crown. I truly believe that. Who knows what's going to happen with Tom Brady as his contract's coming to an end. Going to be 43 years old to start next season. This might be the Patriots' last chance, but we say that every single year. Every single year it seems like we say, hey, this might be the Patriots' last try, and yeah, every single year they continue to surprise us. Guys, remember, if the Patriots make the Super Bowl this year, they actually tie the Buffalo Bills for most consecutive Super Bowl appearances with 4, so we want the New England Patriots to lose as soon as possible in the playoffs so Marv Levy, Jim Kelly, and the Buffalo Bills can still enjoy the fact that they're the only team to go to back-to-back Super Bowls. So we'll see what happens. Justin comes in. Which wide receiver should the Bills select with the 32nd draft pick this year? Hopefully CD or Jerry is still there, or we might have to trade up. There's going to be a lot of wide receivers taking the first 15 picks of this NFL draft. I've looked at some of them, not all of them, and I think that they look really nice. I've seen the Buffalo Bills get wide receiver around 20 on a lot of mock drafts. I haven't had a lot of time to evaluate each wide receiver. I think wide receiver is a place we could go in the first round of the NFL draft, but there's plenty of needs on this team that we might not have to go to wide receiver first thing. There might be a second or third tier wide receiver that's good enough that we can pick him up and mold him into what we need here in Buffalo. Because remember, Buffalo normally does not use a stud number 1 wide receiver. Last time we had a stud number 1 wide receiver would probably be Terrell Owens. Buffalo's game plan isn't molded that way. We're a run-first team. We need possession receivers to get us first downs when needed, especially with Josh Allen. But now we have a guy in Josh Allen that can make the throws that you want key star quarterbacks to make to big-time wide receivers. So maybe we'll give it a shot. Who knows? But it might not be round 1, might be round 2. Carmen just said, I just started watching this year, but I have been watching the Bills my whole life. What's my thoughts on Tyrod Taylor and the Bills? I was on Twitter probably last week, and some trolled about Tyrod versus Josh Allen. I'm done with that conversation. I'm sick of that conversation. Josh Allen's better than Tyrod Taylor in year 2, all right? And that's all that matters to me. Right now, if you were to give me Josh Allen, Tyrod Taylor is a backup somewhere, right? In LA, Josh Allen's a starter. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why Tyrod Taylor was a backup behind Joe Flacco. There's a reason why Tyrod Taylor in year 4, or 5, 6, and 7 with his 3 years with the Bills could not keep his job. But that doesn't bug me that much. If you want to compare those two, fine. But this Twitter troll decided to imply that Bills fans were racist, and that's when I really went off on him a little bit, because no one implies that people from my fan base, from my family, are racist. I'm sure there are a couple in Bills Mafia that are racist, but to imply a whole fan base in general is racist, that takes a lot of cojones in my estimation, and that's just something that I don't like to see. No matter who the fan base is, but especially if it's my fan base, will not let that happen. Fin Attack, welcome to Billievers Talk. Welcome to the live stream. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Tom Brady will be the first grandfather to be a starting quarterback, says Thomas Camp. Possibly, if he keeps playing this way, he's doing really good. Jack comes in. Jets got Quinn Williams when Ed Oliver was available. How's that working out? Hey, the first round draft picks are a long-term investment, not a short-term one. So right now, obviously, looks like it's working out in Buffalo's favor. But let's talk more about that in 4 years when their rookie contracts are all done. Let's see if either one gets signed to that 5th-year option before we start making statements like that. Year 1, you have to say it goes to Ed Oliver, but Williams also spent some time injured. So, we'll see what happens year 2. Anything can happen, and I look forward to watching that. But before we do that, of course, the Bills got to make their playoff run. But before we do that, we have to finish Week 17. So, again, talk about the time possession being a what I'm trying to say, key to victory. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm losing my thoughts, guys. Being a key to victory, time possession, key to victory. Second thing is turnovers. Again, week 1 against the New Jersey Jets, turned the ball over 4 times. Cannot let that happen in this game. The Jets are coming in a little bit hot, right? Want to end the season on a high note, just like we do. But the good news for us is we get to continue after week 17. But I always like going into playoffs with momentum. I like going in with that victory. So I hope that the Bills get this win this week. But if it's between the Bills getting this win and us sitting some guys to rest them so they don't get hurt, obviously I'm going to choose the latter, but we'll see what happens. Josh Allen has been Bills' best quarterback since Doug Flutie. Absolutely, I don't think there's any question about that. The past 2 seasons, there's one of the ways, says Thomas. I don't pay attention to Tom Brady's personal life. That's all I know. Jack Patrick, you said cojones for the Spanish for Jordan, guys. Yeah, I'm almost there. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I'm not as educated as you kids in Hawaii. I think the cold weather shrinks the brain a little bit, and so it's harder to pronunciate words, and it's harder to just think of words when you're here live stream. But I'm getting close, man. I'm getting close. Another year or 2, I might have it down for you. But enjoy that Hawaii weather, man, and enjoy a full brain up there, because ours are shrinking with the cold weather. It's just really hard. You don't even know. You don't even know, man, as Deion Dawkins would say. I went to Penn State. Okay, so you know a little bit about the cold. I always felt Doug Flutie should have started that playoff game against the Titans back in '99. Rich, everyone thinks that. Every single Bills fan thinks that. In fact, I think the coach, Wade Phillips, thinks that too. Unfortunately, it wasn't Wade Phillips' call. We know whose call it was. It was Ralph Wilson's, and he made the wrong call. But when you're getting paid $8 million, you don't want to be a backup. You don't want that guy to be a backup quarterback. When you're talking about a guy making maybe $2 million, what Doug Flutie was making. I don't know. It's the spam in Hawaii. That's how it shrinks in cold weather. Yeah, tell my wife about that. But yeah, so talking about my third key to victory for this game between the Buffalo Bills and the New Jersey Jets, it's going to have to be our defensive secondary against this Jets passing attack, which has gotten better the last 3 weeks with Sam Darnold. Now, again, I don't know if Trey White's going to play. I don't know if Teron Johnson or Kevin Johnson or Hyde or Poyer or even Levi Wallace are going to play in this game. But how our secondary does, because guys, remember, we're still the second best scoring defense in the league. We're the third best defense as far as yards allowed per game. I want to keep that up. I don't want to lose that because we gave in week 17. We gave up 400 yards to the New Jersey Jets. I don't want that to happen. So this secondary, no matter who it is going to have to step up. Anderson is going to be out there, and if White's not on him, he's a dangerous guy. If White's on him, he's going to be blanketed all game. I'm not worried about him. But if White's not out there, we need someone to step up. If Hyde and Poyer are not out there, again, remember the game Hyde and Poyer had last week? Really did a good job. We'll need our safeties to step up, whether it be Siren Neal, whether it be Dean Marlowe, whoever that is, need to step up and fill that void because we know they're not going to play the whole game, right? Again, I expect maybe a quarter, maybe treat this like a preseason game, maybe get the Bills team out early, and hopefully we have a few good possessions, right? If we have one or two good possessions in that first quarter, score on both of them, I think that's it. The Bills will sit, we'll be done, and we'll be excited about that. As Bills fans, but again, if the offense struggles, do you keep them out there longer? Because again, you want that momentum going into Wild Card Weekend. Whether you're playing Houston, whether you're playing Kansas City, you want that momentum. You want to be all systems fired, all systems go. And this offense is not exactly an offense that scares other teams, right? Definitely have room for improvement. And since you have a second year quarterback in there who's still learning the offense, who's still learning the different receivers, who's still learning timing, who's trying to learn how to throw the ball at an angle so Cole Beasley can actually catch it. Those things matter, especially in the playoffs. Cole Beasley's always open, but if you throw it two yards above his head, he's not always going to be able to catch those. We've seen that time and time again this season. He's got his hands on a bunch of them, and he's just unable to bring them down all the time. So, and we saw in that Pittsburgh game led to an interception. That could be a game loser in the playoffs if it were to happen there. So we'll see what happens. Again, guys, hit that like button. 15 watching. I appreciate you guys joining me on this Thursday evening. Again, no Thursday night football, but I hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday, the day after Christmas, post-Christmas. 364 days to go, guys, if you're into that. So get those those like little Christmas chains going and just start the countdown now. But again, thank you guys for joining me, guys. If you want to watch the Jets-Bills game this Sunday, you want to join #Sports. Mario and Paul are going to have you covered not only here on YouTube, but on Sportscaster as well. Check out the link below and join them on Sunday. They will also pregame the game Saturday. And if you're interested in football squares, the every $5 spent gets you a football square. Works just like Super Bowl squares, giving out some cool merchandise, some autographed Bills merchandise, and then all the money that you send to #Sports goes to the Punt Foundation. Really cool charity. So anything we can do to help them out is really awesome, and we appreciate that, guys. Again, Billievers Talk teaming up with #Sports this year to give you the best play-by-play reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game. We teamed up, have a partnership with BewareTheStampede.com. Go to BewareTheStampede.com for your Buffalo Bills news. And also, Jeremy from BewareTheStampede.com has started a podcast. Make sure you check that out as well. Kenneth comes in. Happy holidays, everybody. Yeah, happy holidays to everyone out there. Again, we talked about some of the keys to victory. Again, my first key to victory, we cannot be outpossessed 2-1. You need to win that time possession. Second key to victory, cannot turn the ball over. Again, we lost that. And we technically had a -3 turnover differential in that game, but basically should have been -4. The one turnover for the Bills came as the last play as the Jets were trying to lateral it all over the place. So we cannot lose the turnover differential by 3 or 4 turnovers and expect to win this game. We need to win this game. I truly believe that. I think that winning a game before you go into the playoffs is huge for your momentum. That's why I'm not always a fan of sitting players, and maybe that's something Coach McDermott believes in too. That's why Coach McDermott is going to put the starters out there to start the game. And we'll just see how long he has them out there. Again, I don't expect to see him out there for longer than a quarter. Let me know what you think in the comment section. How long? Tell Mario and that Tom says, hey, I'll let them know. I'll let them know. You'll probably see him before I do, though, so you make sure to let them know. How long do you think the Buffalo Bills, Coach McDermott, Leslie Frazier, Brian Dable, how long do you think they're going to play the starters this Sunday? Again, I think it's going to be no longer than a quarter, but if that offense struggles, do you keep them out there a little bit longer so you can get going mentally and be prepared for that wildcard game no matter who we play? I'd like to see the boxes before the game starts this week. Well, the sooner you get those boxes filled up, the sooner you'll be able to see the boxes. I didn't get to see the boxes before the Patriots game either. I still don't know if I won or lost. Probably I didn't receive anything in the mail, so I'm pretty sure I lost. But hey, that's okay. Again, helping out a good charity. I always appreciate doing that as well. Get positive momentum going into the postseason, says Dan. Yes, big, important. Tom comes in. Welcome, Tom, to Believers Talk. And hit that like button if you haven't already. Bills will lose whoever they play first round. Won't be able to score enough points against Texans or Chiefs, in my opinion. Again, we have the second best scoring defense in the NFL. So if we keep that up, that defense will always keep us in games. And that's the key. That's going to be the key to whoever we play in the playoffs. Obviously, yes, if we allow anything more than 24 points in a game in the postseason, we're probably going to lose that game. But in games that the Bills defense has allowed 17 points or fewer, we've won every single one of those games. So that's a big factor when you talk about going into the NFL playoffs. That defense needs to play at top level. That run game needs to be on point. That offensive play calling needs to be great. I think this Buffalo Bills offense is slowly putting it together. And it might be next season until we finally get it fully together. But I think we're slowly putting it all together. I think this Bills team, including their offense, is going to be dangerous in just a little while. Whether that little while be the postseason, where we get together in the postseason, or that be in a few years, or next year. I think we're close. And remember, for all we know, Josh Allen's going to be the next Joe Flacco. And as soon as he gets in the playoffs, it's like boom, 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 boom. Remember Joe Flacco in the years the Ravens won the Super Bowl? Not the greatest regular season quarterback. There's a reason why Joe Flacco is the record holder, or at least at one point was the record holder, for most wins on the road in the postseason, because he wasn't that great in the regular season. So they would always be a wild card team. But then he got to the playoffs and they lit other teams up. For all we know, that's what Josh Allen's going to do. And I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened with Joe Flacco. You can make that argument for Eli Manning as well a little bit, that he played better in the postseason than the regular season at times. But some players, that happens. Some players, they get to the postseason and all of a sudden it clicks. And I don't know how that happens, but it's happened before and it could happen again. Just wait to see. We never know what's going to happen. But again, I do agree. If the team we're playing scores over 24 points, it's going to be really hard to say the Bills are going to come out on top in that game. But this second-rate defense, this second scoring defense, will be tough to handle as well in the playoffs. And that's something you got to remember too. Just because they have high-octane offenses doesn't necessarily mean they're going to score a lot of points against this defense. Jack Patrick says, play the starters. Yeah, but for how long? Kenneth Osborne says, first quarter. Maybe we'll see Duke. Kevin Show says, 17 points, 3 games in a row. Anthony Simonelli says, Houston also has those games where they play horrible, like the one they lost to the Broncos this year. Yeah, and that one was in Houston, so you just never know. Josh has come a long way this year. He needs another threat, Tom says. I would love to see that. We were talking about possible first-round wide receivers in the upcoming NFL draft. And, guys, I will be bringing you draft coverage right here on Believers Talk leading up to the draft. Now, I'm not sure I'll be doing draft day, but leading up to the draft, I'll be looking at Buffalo Bills' needs at the draft position and breaking down some of the players at those positions and saying who would be a good fit for Coach McDermott and for these Buffalo Bills. Singh comes in. Hi, Joe. I have a question. Ask away. Which team is Buffalo going to play in the playoffs? It's either the Houston Texans or the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, if playoffs started this week, it'd be the Houston Texans. If the Chiefs lose and the Texans win, then we would play the Chiefs. That's the only way we would not play the Texans, is if the Chiefs lose and the Texans win, then we would play the Chiefs. If either of those teams tie, if either of those teams do opposite than what I just said, we play the Texans. But if the Chiefs lose, Texans win, we play the Chiefs. But as it looks like right now, probably would say with about 80% certainty that we're going to play the Houston Texans. But thank you for joining me, guys. And again, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Is he going to light it up? I don't see that happening. Maybe not, but he can control the game, right? Control the game enough to give your defense rest. Control the game enough to make that run game a threat, to make that play action game a threat. And then Brian Dable could call a great game and make it possible. That's all I'm saying. It's always possible, guys. You just have to believe in this team. Again, most people, Vegas has to get 6 wins this year. Here we are. We're 1 week away from the playoffs. 1 week away from the playoffs. We know going into week 17, we're comfortable. It's a great feeling. I'm lounging back right now. I'm relaxed because I know no matter what happens this week, we will be seeing the Buffalo Bills playing in January in the playoffs. playoffs, and that's a good feeling. Like I said, like Jack Patrick said, I want to go into the playoffs with that win, but we'll see what happens. I'd rather make sure that our guys are healthy going into that week 1 game, but I want to go into that playoffs with that momentum on our side. Jack Patrick, Tom, Daniel come in and say, go Bills. Absolutely. Who are the Chiefs playing this week? The Chiefs play the Chargers this week. The Texans play the Titans. So those are the games you want to watch. Dan comes in and says about 92% chance it's Houston, 8% Kansas City. Tom comes in. Fun fact: Bills are actually 14-5 the start of preseason. Yeah, 14-5 this season. Remember, this is the first season we went undefeated in the preseason. 4-0 in the preseason this year, including that Week 4 preseason comeback that I really feel like set the tone for this season. You remember that comeback? I remember that comeback very much. And I think that really set the tone for the season. You talk about Josh Allen, 4 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter this season alone. So that's a really big indication that we know we're always in games. And that includes last Saturday, we came back. That included the game against Baltimore, down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. We came back and at 1-score game was driving at the end of that game for a possible game-tying touchdown. Just fell a little bit short. We know we can do it. And when you talk about the playoffs, you're talking about close games all the time, right? Most games are close. So if it's close, if it's the fourth quarter, there's only one quarterback in the NFL that has a higher QBR than Josh Allen in the fourth quarter. So who else would you rather give the ball to? And that's what I'm talking about. Keep it close, make it a game, and I think Josh Allen can win us a couple ball games. I know a lot of people might not agree with me, but Josh Allen has improved leaps and bounds this season. Let's see what he does when we step it up a notch in the playoffs. It's a win for the Chiefs. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But thank you guys again for joining me on this edition of Believers Talk, this pregame edition. Again, if you weren't here for my 3 keys to victory: time possession, no turnovers, and what else did I say? Our secondary, right? Our secondary has to step up with the possibility of sitting White, sitting the safeties. Our secondary has to step up. Again, I really couldn't focus on a single player in this game just because I'm not sure who's going to be playing and how long they're going to be playing. I like the idea of Siren Neal getting some action and seeing how good he can be if he's the number 2 or number 3 cornerback for this team, not just playing on special teams. Love the idea of possibly seeing Duke Williams active for this game. See if he can do something for this offense, put spark in this offense. If Matt Barkley's playing, maybe him and Duke Williams have a strong connection since they've probably been practicing together most practices through the season anyway. And maybe we could surprise some people just like last season. Remember last season Matt Barkley came in for that game against the Jets and we smacked him in the mouth. I think it was 41-10, something like that, in East Rutherford. So we can do the same thing again this week in Buffalo. I look forward to it. I hope we do too. Go ahead and hit that like button, as Justin said. Don't leave today, do a 24 hours. Just kidding. I don't think I would ever do a 24-hour stream, guys, unless there was 24 hours straight of breaking news. I remember Josh and Sean from Sports Fury did a 24-hour stream once, and it was rough. And the good thing about them having 2 people is they could go and take a nap while the other guy took over. I know they played like a ping pong tournament in there. I watched they had a conspiracy part of the 24-hour live stream, but man, it must have been rough. Not something that I would do anytime soon, unless they had like a marathon of football games, right? 24-hour marathon, like the Buffalo Bulls play a basketball game, then the Buffalo Bulls play a football game, then the Bills would play a football game, and maybe spread it out like half an hour each. That'd probably be the only way I do a 24-hour stream. But thank you, Sing, for the compliment. Again, guys, I do appreciate all the support that I've gotten this year so far, and we'll continue to get. I know you guys, Bills Mafia is strong, and I look forward to continuing to grow this channel. And again, the more it grows, the better it is for you guys, the better content I'll give out. Currently getting that basement finished. Looking forward to showing that off to you guys when it's done. Won't be done until like February, so when the Bills win the Super Bowl, maybe we'll get it done by then. And have a big Super Bowl party down there, and you guys will be invited to watch right here on Believers Talk. Again, keeping you covered with all Buffalo Bills and Buffalo sports. So you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll try to do some Buffalo Sabres game once the Bills season's over. We'll see if we can get the Sabres, get them going, maybe get them into a little bit of a playoff push, get Jack Eichel to get on that 17-18 game scoring streak again. Just a shame what happened to him as far as being hurt. They have a game tomorrow, so make sure you're watching out for that. I look forward to doing all that for you. I look forward to keeping you up to date on the Buffalo Bills. Again, Mario and Paul doing the stream for the Jets game. We'll let you know who's doing what for the playoffs, but we'll have you covered here on YouTube and on Sportscaster. So make sure, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment. If you're not watching the live feed, if you're watching this on replay, leave a comment. How long do you think the starters are going to play this weekend? Do you think it's going to be a quarter, a half, or most of the game? Do you think we're going to treat this like a regular game? No, David, that's going to be the guys over at Buffalo Fanatics. And guys, if you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills, plenty of Bills content out there. You talk about Buffalo Fanatics, talk about hashtag sports, talk about Blindside Buffalo Bills, talk about Bills News Consolidated. There's a bunch of Cover One, of course, does great content as well. There's a bunch of great Buffalo Bills content out there, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go to a few of those channels as well. I, for one, can never get enough Buffalo Bills content. I hope you guys feel the same way. Love this team, love that city, and I look forward to continuing to share in the success of our Buffalo Bills as we get ready for the playoffs. We have a little bit of a test first as we play the New Jersey Jets week 17. Hey Brett, how you doing? Glad you could join me. Just getting ready to get off here, giving you my preview. Again, if you're just joining us, my 3 keys to victory. Again, I couldn't focus on players because we don't know how long these players are going to play, but my first key to victory is going to be time possession. Second key to victory is going to be turnovers. Again, remember week 1, 4 turnovers. We can't allow that to happen again. And if we do, hopefully it's Matt Barkley and they are not Josh Allen. If Josh Allen looks as bad this week as he did week 1, we might be in trouble come the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. And then my third key to victory are those backups, whoever they might be, especially at that cornerback and safety position. I don't want this defense giving up a lot of points to the Jets just because we're playing our backups, because the Jets are playing the starters the whole game. The Jets have nothing to look forward to next week. This is the Jets Super Bowl, so let's spoil it for them. They're a division rival, and they're coming to our place. Let's protect our dirt. Remember, the best we can do, if we lose this game, we finish 4-4 at home. That's not good enough. Let's go 5-3 at home. Let's end with a home winning record and a road winning record, and I think we'll be all right. I think that once this team makes the playoffs, any sign of Duke will probably be active for this game, but you just never know. You never know what Coach McDermott's looking for. I look forward to watching it. I hope you guys do too. I'll probably be live again this week before the Sunday game, whether that be tomorrow, Friday evening, or Saturday. Make sure you hit that notification bell. It notifies you when we go live. We can talk more about the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, talk more about the game against the Jets, see who we will play week 1 of the playoffs, wildcard weekend. Again, it's looking like it's going to be the Texans, but it could be the Chiefs still as well. So we'll see what happens this weekend. It's going to be a fun time. Hope you guys join hashtag sports for the live coverage. And again, go to BewareTheStampede.com for all your Buffalo Bills news. I look forward to talking to you all soon. And Dan Mitchell. I forgot about Dan Mitchell. I always love Dan Mitchell, Bills Mafia, so make sure you check him out too. But I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.